Alright, going to do a video here showing some of the updated camera equipment that we have purchased recently. We have been limping along now for quite a few years with some pretty old equipment and trying to make things stretch and whatever. Not just because of the money issue, but also because I am very new technology resistant. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of a history here, I bought a bunch of older cameras way back in 2007 when I got started offline, making DVDs and things, and I saw, when I'm going to be doing videos, more professional type of video, I'm going to need a better camera. Well, there was a number of different cameras that were out back then, different video type of formats, and kind of the newer style, at least to me, there's probably people in the tech world that knew about this before I did, but was the hard disk drive type, this type right here. And you can see right there. And this is a JVC Vario, a 60 gigabyte hard disk drive, and it's a 3 CCD camera. Had 3 little lenses in it, and I bought not this one but another one identical to this. This is my second one. Bought this thing back in 2008, I believe it was, and I used this thing for up until 2013, so 5 years. And I put it through a lot. It was out in the snow, it would just be snowing, and I'd make videos. Some of the Preacher Rapture Moment videos were shot with my old camera like this. In heat, there in Pennsylvania, I did all the recording with that original camera. And there'd be days it was over 100 degrees outside, and this thing's sitting there in the sunlight, recording. I put it through a lot. And towards the end of the time that we were in Pennsylvania, before we moved here to Maine, 2013 or so, in other words, I was starting to notice it was starting to get kind of blurry over here on this side of the screen, and on this up and then around here. It was really starting to get kind of blurry, and it wasn't just a dirty lens. And I was noticing the color was starting to separate as well. Blue and red were kind of starting to separate in the images and things, almost like a 3D type of a deal. And so I thought, oh boy, gonna have to get a new camera because this thing is dying. And so I really didn't want to look about some kind of a different camera, so I went out and I bought a used one. Originally I had paid $1,200 for the original one of these. Then I found this one here. This one I think was about $500 or so that I paid for this thing. And this is called a prosumer level camera. It's not just a family vacation kind of a thing, just go get a cheap camera so you can get a few memories on video or something. It was a, semi-professional camera, but not full-scale professional video camera. So I used this thing then for the next, from 2013 to 2018, this year, early this year. Well, I shouldn't say early, about midway through this year. And I guess in 2016, I was starting to have the batteries were starting to have problems. The one died, and then another one died. And you can see there's no battery on the back here. And so that's why a lot of my videos were done indoors, because I could just plug in, right here, the little wall outlet, the little thing here, you could just plug in there and then plug it right into the wall. And so a lot of my videos were done indoors for that reason. I did do some stuff outside, but the way I was doing that, and I realized I could have bought new batteries for it again, but I'm saying, okay, how long is this camera going to last? You get into that thing of, if I go and invest in new batteries and then the camera dies, well, I just wasted my money. So, it's, again, I use this thing pretty hard, put it in the backpack, hiking around, cold, heat, a lot of outdoor type of stuff. It's in direct sunlight. So I really didn't want to invest a whole lot in the camera itself. So I had one of these big Duracell power packs. It's basically a car battery, and then it's an inverter. You can plug stuff into it and whatever. And I used that outdoors a couple times. Well, kind of hard to lug that into remote locations. So, I've been thinking about, I need to get a new camera for a while. And, I thought, could I just find another one of these? And I thought, oh, I'm just kind of not really helping myself much. So earlier this year, in 2018, I bought a Sony, I don't remember the model number, but it was basically a digital camera, like a DVR camera. And it was able to do 4K video. And I thought, hey, this is going to be great. This will kind of take the ministry to the next level. And I tried to use the thing. I tried to understand the functions of it and whatever else, and I just could not get it. I mean, you know, give me a chainsaw, put me out in the woods, say cut down that big tree, you know, whatever. Okay, I can do that. Give me a big block of wood, some huge big wood burl or something, put it on the lathe and say turn it into a bolt. Okay, I'll do that. You know, whatever. Computers and cameras and all this high-tech stuff, a lot of it's just over my head. I'll be the first to admit that I'm real dumb on some of that stuff. So, sold to Sony, could not figure out this thing. And I've been kind of looking, as you know, here and there and reading reviews of cameras and whatever else. And finally I found one that they said is pretty easy to use. It's a 4K camera. It makes real nice video, whatever else. It's got a lot of good features to it. I'm going to actually, I'll talk about this little camera here in a minute, but I'm going to use this one to show the camera that I'm recording with, my new camera. Here it is. You can see it's a Panasonic. Get the thing here. There's the viewfinder's upside down. Panasonic HCVX981. If it'll focus. But this thing here, you don't use. Just show it there a little bit more. This thing you don't use. It's not a hard disk drive. It's got the little SD, you know, slot in it. This one does too, down there. You can use that. I never did because it just, you know, it's got a 60 gigabyte hard drive in it. So all the newer videos with, you know, the new King James Video Ministries intro and then the high definition videos of me outdoors, they've all been recorded with this camera, and really good camera. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, am I going to be destroying this camera in a couple of years by doing a lot of outdoor stuff and really hardcore, you know, winter things and whatever? And over the years, people have suggested that I get a small GoPro type of camera for doing some of the more hardcore stuff outside. And so I thought, well, you know, okay, I'll check into the thing of a GoPro. So I started doing the research on that, and I saw some of the debate back and forth, GoPro versus the new Sony FDR X3000, I think this thing's called. And long story short, I got this little Sony here. That's another little 4K camera. Really a neat little thing here. And this one is going to be used for some of the, you know, really rugged areas we go to and things. I don't have to worry about this thing breaking as much as I do the big camera. Very excited about this. I'll roll in some, well, before I do that, let me just show you this. This is also another thing that you can get with this. It's a little remote viewing monitor, so I can, it's kind of like a watch. I can put this thing on and have this on my chest or some other place, because you can't see what you're recording in that little viewfinder there. That's just, you know, technical stuff that you look at there. What your camera settings are, whether you're doing 4K or just, you know, high definition 720 type of stuff or whatever. A lot of the other technical stuff. So it's nice to be able to see what you're recording, and I can remotely record with this. So if this is someplace, wherever, I can push record and then see, okay, it's on, it's recording, good, I can see the color looks great, everything's good. The other thing about this, the reason I got it, is because it has optical image stabilization in it. Okay, optical image stabilizer, I think, how you say it. It's not digital image stabilization, and I think after researching it, the optical thing is really neat, because if you're going through a really rough area, the lens itself moves. It doesn't digitally try to, you know, keep the frame and all that stuff, and it looks a little bit jumpy. This thing is incredible. I'll show you some video here. We were down at the ocean yesterday to celebrate Oliver's birthday, and the picture quality, the colors are just absolutely beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to, you know, doing some video with this thing. Something I am going to be doing coming up. A while back I bought a dual sport motorcycle, which I'm using to do some different jobs that I have and things of transporting vehicles and stuff. I can haul the bike in the back of my truck and then move things around, whatever else, and then ride the dirt bike home. Dual sport. So I'm going to be doing some Bible-believing motorcycle vlogs with a helmet camera, something a little bit different, and because we specialize in different things here, so that should be interesting. You'll get to see me riding a motorcycle, but I thought it'd be kind of a neat way to do it as I'm working, doing different jobs that I have to do. I can actually be talking and things and trying to reach people for Jesus Christ and reach them with the truth that they're just not going to find on most channels, unfortunately. I wish other people would, real big channels would step up and whatever and preach truth, but they don't. So there's that camera. And then the other one that I use, which I showed a little bit earlier here, is just this little, I'm covering it up with my finger there, Canon Power Shot. See it there? And this is an old one, and we have two of these actually. We have another one that we use for our family photos, and again, we're taking a lot of pictures of going places and just being together and fun things. And then I'm trying to use that one for ministry stuff as well, and I'm always afraid I'm going to drop it and lose things that I've work that I've done with for our family and things. And so I thought I'm just going to try to find a used one on eBay for cheap. They don't make these things anymore. So found this one used. Actually, kind of a funny story. The eBay seller that I bought it from was just a few letters and a few numbers or something. There was no title or whatever else, and so I looked at a good rating and I thought, okay, fine, US seller, the whole deal. And so I bought it, and I get the thing, and here it's from some monastery, Roman Catholic monastery. I guess they were selling things to make some money for the monastery or something. And I'm going, oh, okay, they didn't realize who they were selling it to, and I didn't realize who I was buying it from. But the irony of it is, Roman Catholics sold to me, and I'm going to use this camera to expose their system. Gotta love the Lord's sense of humor in setting that up. But audio, what do you do about audio? Because I've had this question. What I do about audio, what works really good for me, because I know some people complain about the audio of these little cameras here. If you're doing motorcycle vlogging or if it's in the underwater case, people say it's just terrible. Fine. So what do? Well, for years now, I've been using this technique of using a separate audio recorder. This is a little Zoom handy recorder H2. You can see there. And it has where is it, right there, a little external mic port right there. And so I have a little lapel mic that plugs into this thing, and then it goes up through. I just put it up through my shirt, and it comes out here. Click it on. You've probably seen it in other videos. And then if I'm in studio, I can put this thing on a tripod and just kind of mount it about right there so you can't see it on the screen. But then I can keep an eye on what's going on there. If I'm outdoors, I have this little belt pack. I can just slip this down into it and put it on my belt back, like that and whatever else, and that way you can't see it when I'm standing there. But it's really nice because then you don't have to worry so much about wind. You don't have to worry about the distance from the camera. Again, if you saw the video from yesterday, done down at the ocean about how many people were going to die in the time of Jacob's trouble, I was using that voice recorder, and it was really, really windy, but I stood there with my back to the wind, so most of the wind is flowing around me, and the lapel mic is not picking it up. So it works really well. And what you do is you take the audio track from your microphone on your camera, and then you take the audio track from this in your editing software. I use Sony Vegas, and you line up the two audio tracks. So you synchronize the two audio tracks, and then what you do is you either mute or delete your video camera microphone. And it works really well. Then all you get is just the lapel mic being recorded here. And I've tried to use show this real quick. I have a older Rode shotgun mic, which I've used. You need the little shoe thing on the top of your camera and the audio input there, which my new camera does, and the old JVC does as well. You just kind of put that in there like that. You can tighten it down, and then it's got this little thing right here, this little port right there, and you can see the microphone's on the top to show you how it looks there. And you can plug it in like that, and then you have your audio, and it's on little rubber, you know, little bands, little rubber band things there. So if there's movement down here in the camera, the sound of it loading or whatever else, it doesn't transfer up into here through the frame. So it works, but there's times when you get some distortion in it, so it's not exactly perfect. I have used it over the years in outdoor videos. It's okay, but I prefer just having a completely separate audio recorder and then just synchronizing the audio tracks. I like doing that. If you're interested in knowing more about that, you can check that out. So I'm trying to think of what else I need to say here about this whole thing. Oh, I know what I was going to say. That camera that you're watching me on right now and this little camera here are both 4K, and which is great, but unfortunately my computer is not able, I shouldn't say my computer, it's my version of Sony Vegas Movie Studio is not able to handle 4K video. It cannot render 4K video. So if I do put 4K files in, if I use this camera or this one, the video, it's kind of real jumpy. It will render it, but it renders it down to like a 1080p or whatever. It doesn't do 4K. So now I'm in this situation where I'm saying, okay, to really go to the next level, I'm going to have to get a new computer, because this one here is 7 years old, my current computer, and I've had some issues with it. It still blue screens every once in a while and things, and it's got some issues. I try to keep it clean and everything else, but going to be eventually saving up and getting another computer and a newer edition of Sony Vegas that can handle 4K video. So that's kind of a future project. But the reason I'm really talking about this is because I get asked the questions, you know, what computers or what cameras do you use, what equipment do you use, and one other thing I should mention here real quickly, because I did have a question on this. They asked, I had a brother write and say, what do you do for a tripod? Well, this is my very first tripod right here, a very cheap, I don't know if it, Targus, right there. Targus is the brand. I got it at Radio Shack. It was $20 or something. It's aluminum. It's light as a feather, but it does not have a fluid head. So you try to, it's a thing there. You try to, turn with it, and you get these weird spots where it's not, it's jerky. And so if you want to do good kind of where you're showing a lot of things, you need a fluid head in the tripod. I don't do that very often. Usually I just have it stationary, so this works okay, but the problem is it's so lightweight that if it's someplace where it's kind of windy, it has a tendency to kind of blow around a little bit. It was actually so windy yesterday that my better tripod was actually blowing around a little bit. So, but that's just a little word on tripods, and I'm sure there's a lot better stuff out there that I'm not even familiar with. But so just want to do this video because I do get asked the question quite a bit, and just to show also that King James Video Ministries is about producing the best possible stuff that we can. Obviously I'm not going to go out and hire a professional film crew or anything like that. There's no point in that. I don't need 4K video for indoors here, obviously, but outdoor stuff, yeah. I want to show the glory of God's creation and get people away from looking at what man makes in the cities and whatever else, and get them thinking about what God makes, and get them to realize the absurdity of evolution theory that says that everything came about as a random accident billions of years ago. That's nonsense. All right, there's a beautiful creation, thereby there is a beautiful or an all-powerful creator. Say it that way. So we're not going anywhere. King James Video Ministries. We are continuing to upgrade the ministry, and we're going to be putting out even better stuff in the future. A lot of it's going to start to be offline, DVDs and things like that in the future, high quality, much higher quality than I've put out in the past. As the Lord's helping us to buy better equipment and teaching me more about putting videos out too. But just another thing here, I know a lot of people were praying about the issue that we were having with the internet. Just to kind of recap what happened there, we had been with, when we first came to Maine, we went with Fairpoint Communications was the company name, and they were pretty good. It was 15 megabyte per second service back in 2013 going into 2014. I guess it was 2014 January when we moved actually, so it would have been early 2014. We had 15 megabyte per second and right around 1 or so megabyte per second upload speed, I think, something like that. And so I've been thinking of we should really try to upgrade because the internet is pretty slow, the connection speed here, and it got worse actually because Fairpoint sold out to Consolidated Communications. When we went with Consolidated Communications earlier this year, our internet speed went and got really, really bad. It used to be that I could upload a video to YouTube and check email and whatever else at the same time. So for about a year now, well, not quite a year, but early 2018, it's been, if I'm uploading anything to YouTube, you pretty much can't do anything else on the internet, which I think is pretty ridiculous. And I was paying $50 a month for this. Okay, this 15 megabyte per second, very slow speed. So it's been something I've been thinking, well, I should eventually upgrade this thing. And so here, our modem, don't have it in here anymore, but our modem died a little while ago, a couple weeks ago. And okay, so I call up Consolidated Communications and I say, we need a new modem, and we'd like to upgrade, and what's the deal here? And they say, oh yeah, your service is really slow. We could upgrade you to 25 megabyte per second, and it's still going to cost you $50 a month. And I'm thinking, it sounds kind of high to me, but we're not in the most metropolitan area here in Bridgewater. So, okay, fine. So they said we're going to come out on. We called on a Friday. They said we'll come out next Friday, and I'm saying okay, So that whole week I can't be online. We have no internet because our modem's dead. Well, we'll send out a new modem as quick as we can. So it got here in a couple days, hooked it up, and the internet didn't work. So I'm calling customer service, and we're back and forth with them. And finally, I called up some guy that actually knew a little bit, and he, oh well, I don't think we have it connected here or something there, and they did something there at their offices, and now all of a sudden our internet works. And I'm thinking, okay, so that was, I guess, they were supposed to come out a week from the Friday that we had called. So we had a phone call right around the time I guess it was right before I called this guy, and they said, oh, we can't come out. It's going to be Monday now. So I'm getting frustrated. I'm saying I can't upload anything. I got a bunch of sermons I need to upload. I got people I need to answer. I don't even, I had work I needed to do. So, it's going to be Monday. So I called, they fixed the problem. All of a sudden I can get back on the internet. Strange how that works. And so Monday rolls around and I'm thinking, great, I'm up here working with our slow internet connection that we had. I see the Consolidated Communications truck pulling out here. I said, okay, I'm going to go out and see what's going on. Just talk to the guy and whatever else. So I get up, I walk downstairs, go to put my shoes on and things, and I walk outside to talk to the guy, and the truck's gone. Thinking, well, he's only been here for a few minutes. So I walk around the side of the house, and the network interface device, the NID box, is on the side of the house, and I showed it in my video. It's just open, completely open. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, he must have had to go to one of the telephone poles in the area here in the neighborhood and unhook something or hook something up, or I don't know. So I closed the thing up, and I waited for a couple of hours, and nothing. Didn't come back. So we drove down to the visitor center in Holton, and about a half hour from here, and I called up Consolidated Communications and said, what on earth happened? What's going on? Well, he didn't have enough time to finish the job. And I thought, he was there for a few minutes at the most. And he had, it was 1:30 when he showed up. They are done at 5. 3.5 hours. You can't finish a job in 3.5 hours. So, okay, whatever. So I said, I have no telephone. I have no internet, and now I have no telephone. Oh, I'm very sorry about that, sir, And I said, okay, what am I going to do if I have an emergency? And it's a little frustrating. And so 2 days, well, they did nothing, and so I made the video that night. That was the video I did. You can see that video. And all of a sudden they're coming out, and oh, we're going to fix you up here and everything else. And I was away at work, and building and things, and all day, and so trying to remember where I'm going with this whole thing. And so they came, they were here, we weren't here, and so they said, sorry we missed you. There's a thing on the door, sorry we missed you. They didn't do that the first time. There was no notification or anything. But this time they're going to put the little thing on the door saying, sorry we missed you. And we'll be back. Give us a call, we'll set up an appointment when we can hook up and increase your internet speed. So I said, nothing doing, I'm going to call, I'm going to get somebody else in here. So we got a company named Spectrum, and they're excellent. The guy came, was it 2 days? 2 days ago. He came, hooked up the internet, and now we actually have, it's right about 75 megabits per second, if I got that right, and about 10 upload speed. So a lot faster than what we had before, a whole lot faster. And it's kind of funny because it used to be that it was shorter for me to render a new video than it was to upload it. And I would have to upload all night long. I'd start the video, go to bed, by morning it would be uploaded to YouTube. Just this morning I rendered a video, and it took about 50 minutes for the video to render, and it uploaded in 20 minutes. So very, very nice. Romans 8:28 definitely applies. For we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to His purpose. And your prayers, the friends of this ministry, those that pray for this ministry, that helps out more than you know. So that's just kind of an update on some of the things that are going on here. Just called the Consolidated Communications here a little while ago and said, please cancel my service. I will not be coming back. And so the service is canceled. We got a new phone number and all kinds of stuff here. So big changes. And like I said, a lot faster internet speed. New cameras. Eventually we're going to be investing in a new computer for the ministry and new software to make better video. So the ministry is moving forward. And we're reaching a lot of people, a lot of new people coming along and things, and people asking how to be saved, and they want to know for sure that they're going to go to heaven when they die. Just some really, really amazing miracles that the Lord is doing through this ministry. It still blows my mind how much the Lord has used myself and even my wife, some of her stuff that she's put out. You don't have to agree with us and everything, but just understand our heart's desire. Our heart's desire is to see people get saved and to see them become King James Bible believing Christians. That's what we want. Another thing I need to talk about real quick here, and that is the external hard drive project that I was working on there. I made some announcements about that. We've had numerous videos deleted off the internet because they're too controversial. We've had other things, numbers of videos on the Pharmacopoeia Inquisition, which were never released online because they would have been blocked and banned and everything else. And it was just really long. The study was very, very long and just too detailed for putting into video. So that stuff is all going to be coming out on a little external hard drive, little passport, I think they call them. I showed it in another video. It's not up here right now, but actually I'll show this one. This is a My Passport Western Digital, like that. A little cord plug in there. This thing here, the ones I'm going to be doing, this is a 1 terabyte. The ones I'm going to be doing are 1.5, I think, terabyte. And this one here could not fit all the videos I've done in the last 10 years or so. and so we had to upgrade to another one, another size, and those will eventually be available on King James Video Ministries. I'm going to get the web store going again. We're restructuring a lot right now for the ministry, but I want to make, there's a fair amount of space there available for more video. So praying about it, and we talked about it, and what I want to do is I'm going to have 2018 be the last year for the external hard drive project. And so I'm not going to just make it available and then, well, there's more videos coming out and whatever. 2018, when it ends, will be the year. Okay, the final video of 2018 will be the final video that goes on the external hard drive. And then they will be available, Lord willing, on kingjamesvideoministries.com. And it'll have all of the videos we've ever made, stuff that's been banned, that's been taken off the internet, and it'll be available. So it should be pretty good. Some of the people that I've exposed over the years, one of the big ones is this guy named John Kalal, the Max Bauer channel. And every time I put the videos out against the guy, he's just so thin-skinned he can't handle any kind of stuff coming out about it. And I showed his email and his private, what's the private identification, not identification, his real name. Not his YouTube personality, and that's why my Patreon account got deleted because of this sissy. He's a criminal, actually has a criminal background in internet scamming, but I'm not allowed to show that. The guy's a total fraud. But the videos are going to be available on the external hard drive, and they will be available coming out on the web store. And I'm sure all the little cronies now are talking about it, and it's going to be new videos made against me and whatever, because these people have their lives. They're so pathetic. But that will be out the first of the year. So if all goes well. And I think that's going to be it. But just wanted to show kind of an updated, a video updating people on the new cameras and whatever else, the new direction for the ministry. Really putting in some time to go and travel places and things. Going out of the ocean is about, we put in right around 340 miles driving to make that whole thing happen. We're again, instead of putting in a lot of video and graphic, or really interesting graphics and animation and whatever else, we'd rather actually travel to exotic locations and showcase what the Lord created as backdrop for the videos. So I guess that's going to be it. See, I can talk longer now for these videos because, then they render them quickly and then they upload really fast. I don't have to wait all night. So I'm getting spoiled here. But just want to thank everybody out there for their support of this ministry. Your prayers, your donations to this ministry are making a big difference. I cannot tell you how many times we get letters in the mail, we get emails, we get people that have our email address. There's a lot of different contact out there. People just saying how much their lives have been changed by this ministry. It's very flattering to hear that, and it's very challenging to me to do my very best. And that's why I'm investing a lot in this ministry. So that is going to be it. I just want to thank everybody out there, and we will see you in upcoming videos. Thank you very much for watching.